Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Welcome, everybody, to the latest edition of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Along with G. Bush, Tyvis Powell, I'm Adam the Bull. We've got Mike, we've got Anthony, we've got Steve on the other side of the glass. Is Earl here today?
He was here, then he had to dip out.
All right.
So
is he all right? Everything okay?
Yeah, he's dealing with what happened yesterday. I don't want to get into it.
All right, we won't get into it. Guys, what's going on?
You know,
it is election day. Everybody go out and vote.
As I was driving up here, I was thinking about random thoughts.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, if somebody said to me, you got to sing, when you get one song, you got to sing it word for word.
Yeah.
For a bunch of money, I figured out what song I'd sing.
Really? I mean, if you get it wrong, you lose the money.
Like, if you miss one lyric, you will lose the money.
I
got a song that I know that I can get right.
And what's that?
It's Ransom Money by Drake and Lil Wayne. If I got to choose I would every hum, sneeze, cough, whatever. Yeah. I got it all.
That's kind of random that you were thinking about that. That is very random.
I mean,
but you got a lot of time on your long drive.
I do.
I'll be telling Tyvis. So what y'all don't know, I'll be having my little. I'll be doing my little songs.
He went reggae. He went reggae today, y'all.
I do my little covers. I get my little covers, and the hardest part about doing these covers is you got to learn all the words. Like
true,
but then you have to say the words like they said it.
Yeah,
and so it's difficult. So it's kind of.
Well, why can't you do your own version? Why do you have to say it the way they say?
Well, that's not a cover.
That's not a cover. Then I need it. The reason why people like covers is because they be like, cover bands, Journey. Like they be like, you gotta sing it just like Journey. Don't Stop Believing. You better be all in on that.
Okay.
So but yeah, man,
you be looking up the lyrics while you singing it.
Oh, what you mean?
There's a song. You know the song "Center Field" by John Fogerty.
I don't even know who John Fogerty is.
Okay, fair enough. There's a song called it's from the '70s. A song called "Center Field." If you watch like a baseball documentary, probably every baseball documentary ever made has this song in there, "Center Field." And then there's a band called, in the 90s, I think, called the Ataris that did a remake of the song. Mm-hmm. And they did their own it was the same lyrics, but the music was very different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's a remake and not a cover? Is that the difference?
Yes, that's a remake.
Okay.
That's a remake. So
remix.
And Tyvis, what you said, everybody got a song.
Yeah.
Like everybody got a song that if it come on and you have a couple of drinks in your system.
Screaming that out.
It's gonna
karaoke.
Be a problem.
But honestly, I could sing any Billy Joel, almost any Billy Joel song,
word for word.
Lyric. Yeah, 90% of them. Probably.
I mean, you've been to the concert 3 times.
Yeah, more than that.
So
while we just been on the show.
No, only twice. I think.
Only twice.
Yeah.
So when you go to these concerts, you sing it word for word.
Yeah.
Because I tell you what, I went to the Lil Wayne concert in Columbus like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I knew every song.
There you go.
It was crazy.
Did you see Wheezy Fest?
No, I did. I went to sleep. I fell asleep on it.
Get on
but
YouTube.
The fact that it's on Amazon, right?
It's on YouTube. They got him on YouTube now. All the Hot Boys.
Oh, I saw the highlights now.
But listen, I don't know why nostalgia makes that. Like, I was emotional. Like, nostalgia hits you so tough, you just be. Be like,
you know what the crazy thing is? Back when they was the Hot Boys, like the top 2 was Juvenile and BG. Mm-hmm. Nobody like Wayne was like Wayne and Turk was like young and like it, but now Wayne ended up being the biggest one out of all of them.
That's
crazy.
Wild, man. Music is the only thing that you can listen to some music and it'll put you right back.
Oh, 100%.
Where you was at, what cologne, what girl you had a crush on, what shoes like everything.
Their songs remind me of being in college, remind me of working at Pizza Hut, remind me of all kinds of things.
And then there's this weird longing to kind of go back there and just live one day, but it's like, it's kind of convoluted. You're happy, you're sad, you excited all at the same time. Nostalgia is a funny thing.
Speaking of food, Pizza Hut. First of all, two things. One, why does every restaurant got a $5 deal now? What's that about? Secondly,
inflation.
All the pizza places do.
Yeah, that's
I ain't talking like Burger King got a $5. Wendy's, McDonald's, all of them. That's kind of crazy. Secondly, I had the steak crunch wrap one.
Did you like it?
I think the bacon's better.
I think the bacon's the best.
I think so too.
I'm with you. I had one this morning. A lot of sports to get into. So Darius Smith traded. All kinds of basketball stuff. We're going to go to Mike in a second. But one other thing I got to hit on real quick before we get to it. My son is sick yet again. He's sick once a month. It's insane.
Bull, it's getting crazy.
It's getting crazy. We're losing our minds. So this morning, he was watching Home Alone. Have you guys seen Home Alone?
Of course.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know. There's been some big movies that
That's a classic. But that's a classic.
He waited till the black people got up here and said, "Have you even seen Home Alone?"
Hey. Mike, you guys are younger, especially Tyvis. I don't know what you guys have seen.
Isn't that like a holiday movie?
Yeah, but have you seen it recently at all? Or
they come on every Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's watching it, and I'm like you kind of know
Trump
this.
In that movie?
What's that?
Ain't Trump in that movie?
They what?
Trump. Ain't he in that movie? You see him at the hotel, don't he?
Yeah. I don't know. Is that the first one or the second one?
That might be the second one.
I think it might be the second one. He's in New York.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so he's in the second one.
Go ahead. My fault.
So, no, it's all right. So when you don't actively think about it, his family is the worst family.
Yeah.
They are horrible people.
Yes,
even at the end, when the mom gets home, she's not even crying. She's just there. Then the rest of the family comes home, and 30 seconds later, they left them alone again. They all went and did their own thing. The mother is terrible. The father's a piece of garbage. The uncle should be shot. The older brother, that guy. I literally wanted to punch everybody in the face watching that movie again. They are awful human beings.
Actually, I like period pieces because that's a critique on the dystopian suburban life.
Oh my God!
It's like a critique on hey, you're going on vacation, but you guys aren't really going on vacation.
No.
It's it's a chore, and it's everybody is worried about their own things and the way it looks, and they don't even care that you just left the kid behind because you just.
What is this? What is this vacation you speak of?
Oh boy, here we go.
Who does that? Gee, when the last time you went on vacation?
He just went to San Diego.
I went to San Diego.
You missed the show?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
What do you mean?
Dude, it's what's wrong with you, not what's wrong with him.
Hey.
I went to San Diego.
You have to take a vacation. It's good for you.
I went to San Diego last year. I went to Atlanta. Then the year before that, I went to Canada. I don't know why we went.
Did you do it during football season?
I went to Canada and Atlanta during football season, yeah.
Are you insane?
But who's saying you have to do it during football season? You don't have to do it during football season.
I think people that do it during football season is crazy.
But it's the bye.
In this town?
It was a bye week.
So you gonna go this? You going this week?
Nah, my bread ain't right.
No, but
that's real.
There's no reason the spring right after the foot. We're not doing it this year.
What can I do?
But I usually go on vacation after the Super Bowl.
What about a staycation?
That's nice, but
after a while,
I got to take baby steps.
Does your wife want to go on vacation? Go somewhere.
My wife enjoys her life.
Of course she does.
But
it doesn't mean
in order
she don't want to go away.
in order for her and the kids to enjoy their life,
you got to go to work.
That's right.
That's fine. You can afford to take.
I am not what people would call a salary earner. I am a freelance worker.
Yeah, I get it.
No pay.
I get it. But you know what?
You got to go to work.
But you know what? Why don't you go to Seattle? Now you lived there for a while. It might be nice.
I went there.
When did you go there?
I did when we covered the Washington game against the what was that, week 4, week 3, week 4? I was in Seattle.
Oh yeah, but that wasn't a vacation.
No, I'm not doing that. If I'm going somewhere, it's for work reasons.
All right. We'll talk you into it eventually. Eventually we'll wear you down. All right, Mike, let's get to some sports here. What do we got?
We're going to get to the Cavs in a sec, but we did have a Browns trade this morning to start with. Then we're going to dive into the Cavs Comeback win last night. Your guys' apologies to Darius Garland and much more.
Why do I owe an apology?
That's right.
We'll talk about the Cavs.
I mean, I know G has crushed them. And I crushed them. I think there's different levels here.
We'll get to it when we talk about the Cavs, but this first NFL segment is brought to you guys by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out all the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to join today. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
You know, it's funny, Mike. You say people owe apologies, and it got me thinking about how, like, during the summer, people were so angry about where the Browns were in the power rankings, where Deshaun Watson was in the quarterback power rankings. And I remember,
because it was Caleb Williams hasn't even taken a snap, and he's ahead of Deshaun.
and I remember people saying, "Well, listen, at worst case scenario, the Browns win 8-9 games." And well, no, that ain't happening.
And guess what? We're gonna do the same thing this year.
100%. Go ahead, Mike.
So the Browns kicked off NFL trade deadline day early this morning. Now, Mike Flory reported during the game in the second quarter that Darius Smith was going to get traded Sunday or Monday. It happened. It just happened on Tuesday morning. The Detroit Lions and the Cleveland Browns agreeing on a trade today, sending Zadarius Smith to the Lions plus a 2026 7th-round pick in return for a 2025 5th and a 2026 6th-round pick.
I mean, if you get traded for pretty much useless stuff, does it really count as a trade?
This ain't a trade.
Listen, the good news is
this ain't no trade.
He's back in playoff contentions.
We don't care for him. We don't care about his playoff contention.
What?
No.
They did right by him. They sent him. He's towards the end of his career, and they sent him to a conference or a division that he's very knowledgeable about because he's played for three of the 4 teams in that division.
That's true.
He's going to have a chance to go to the playoffs. He's going to have a chance to earn us some money. What?
In the words of all my good friends in the media that have been there for years and years that like to say the same thing, this was a nothing burger. This move was fringe at best. Like, anytime you got to say 2025, 6th, and then 7th, the next year, carry the 1, minus pi.
When you're carrying the 1, it's over.
It's over.
Where was he on our sack leaders? Was he second?
Second behind Myles Garrett.
I'm surprised they couldn't get more than a 5th-round pick.
I mean, that's what they traded.
The Panthers got a 4th-round pick for Jonathan Mingo.
Well, he was a 2nd-round pick, though.
But what has he done?
The answer is nothing.
I don't understand. I mean, I know the Cowboys are stupid the way, they don't know what they're doing, but
I'm guessing, Bull, Zadarius has this year under contract.
Yeah.
Next year, it's not guaranteed they can cut him, get out. It could be legitimately an 8-game rental, which is why the price goes down.
I hear you.
It feels weird. He's a much better player than Mingo.
Yeah, I know it doesn't.
So who is it? Ogbo? Was that who the other starting DN gonna be?
Ogbo or Isaiah McGuire?
Right. What about Alex Wright?
He's hurt.
He's hurt for the season.
Yeah, remember?
Where was I for that?
He tore his triceps week 2
against
Jacksonville.
I forgot about it.
My goodness. Like, this move, we knew it was coming.
Yeah.
That's why I had to say, y'all really sit here acting like this.
I'm not mad at it or nothing. It's just
my thing is you're stocking picks. Ultimately, it comes down to the same question: do you trust the guy to make the right pick?
Yeah.
We gonna stockpile picks. Do you trust the guy that's in charge to take that pick and get the right player?
Man,
that's the question you gotta ask yourself. Personally, I said the Browns are rebuilding while staying competitive. That's what they're doing. I truly feel.
Well, they're not competitive right now.
Well, whatever.
They're 2-7.
It's not like they're gonna absolutely just go nosedive and just tank. Like, I don't think you can.
You mean like next year?
Period. Listen, Jimmy is giving y'all got 4 years to get this thing together.
Yeah.
When that dome open, I need this thing packed. We got to have the greatest show on turf in 4 years, 4 or 5 years. That's all this is about to me. Like, a lot of the players that we sit here and we talk about, they probably not even going to be on the roster for the dome.
Again, I hate to belabor the point, but it's just about finding the quarterback, right? I mean, look in the last 2 years. Houston turned it around. Why? They got a good quarterback. Washington this year turned it around. Why? They got a good quarterback. That's it.
Well, they got new ownership, too.
All right, sure, but if they had not drafted Jaden Daniels, would they be going to be a playoff team? If they had drafted Drake May, I mean,
so
not fair to Drake May.
So
maybe,
which quarterback do you think has
I
that
don't
effect?
know. I'm not enough of an authority on it.
Again, it's always a crapshoot.
Yeah,
the crapshoots. What did I do with them dice I had? I don't think I put them back in my
Travis
bag.
got loaded dice.
I was shooting dice by myself when Steve walked in.
This to me, you set off the defensive end or whatever the case may be. I think people are a little naive, and I think people don't understand the cumulative effect of losing. If you continue to lose, and I feel like they even lost this, like, all right, you sold Zadarius Smith off at a Halloween store on I-71 where all the fireworks got to go after the 4th of July. Like, you got these little 5th or 6th or 7th round picks. Bro, you can't. He hasn't hit on 3rd round picks. I mean, Siaki Ika was like just unequivocally.
Whoa!
What you mean?
Cedric Tillman turning into something.
I mean, that's 1 out of 4.
Martin Emerson. So he had a couple of bad weeks.
Andrew Berry overall.
So he had a couple of bad weeks.
Andrew Berry overall is not drafted
has he been bad the last 2 weeks?
All right. So the thing about Martin Emerson is
what?
He lacks the thing that you need to be good at his position,
which is
speed.
It's not true. I know a guy that people call is going to be a Hall of Famer. He ran a 4.5 something, and he's slow as molasses.
Richard Sherman?
Correct.
Well, his first of all, it's a different scheme.
Why?
Martin Emerson, they be putting him in man coverage. You know Richard Sherman.
Yes, he did.
Man, Richard Sherman is his own guy.
He played. How you gonna tell? First of all, I played there.
Is he better at man coverage or zone, Tyvis?
Man,
you for real?
Yes.
I feel Richard Sherman is better at zone.
Listen,
and isn't Richard Sherman like?
Wait a minute. How y'all gonna tell me what he played? I was there.
I'm not telling you anything.
I was there.
How much did y'all play? More zone or more man?
It was 50-50. So this is how it worked. So back when you was in Seattle, I always said that you could pick somebody up off the street and they could come play corner for Seattle today because it's a simple thing. If they call cover 3 and you got 2 receivers to your side, it's a third. If it's 1 receiver to your side, it's man. Or they're going to call man. It was either 3 or 1. And if it was 1 dude to your side, it was man anyway. So therefore, he played man.
We got sidetracked. Richard Sherman.
But also,
compared to Martin Emerson, it's crazy.
Richard Sherman's like insanely smart, isn't he?
Stanford.
Some people, you might feel that way. I
don't know. I'm asking you.
No, he's not. No.
Okay, he's a dumbass, is what you said.
Yes.
Real quick, then because we're gonna do more trade stuff in a sec. But
yeah,
a 5th and a 6th for Zadarius, first move of the day. I asked the chat, is that a fair value for Zadarius? And with over 300 votes, 60% said no. Do you agree with the chat? Fair value?
I don't know.
What did you think he was going to get
if
for
they could have gotten more, they would have gotten more.
But here's the thing.
What do you price him at? 4?
G, real quick. Jeremy Fowler tweeted the Browns initially wanted a 4, couldn't get a 4. So
you can't even really say a 6th because they're just moving up from the 7th to the 6th.
I'm just saying,
Jeremy Fowler, they got a 5th.
Jeremy Fowler tweeted they wanted a 4th, couldn't get that, so they settled for a 5th.
So here's my thing. They between a rock and a hard place. The Lions don't want to give up for Zadarius Smith. Well, Aiden Hutchinson is out. Yeah. So take it or leave it. We don't care. We'll let him sit on our roster. I'm not going like at some point you got to pay a little hardball. But does it really make a difference? The bad part is no.
No, it's I think whatever you can get for a guy is whatever. I mean, he's an older player who's playing pretty well. I don't know,
This was his best. I would have thought if you was going to move off of him, this was the time because I didn't want them to re-sign him to begin. Remember, we talked about it. Right. When they re-signed him, I'm like, he didn't do anything last year.
He was playing better.
I agree. So that's why they was like, we got to get off of him now.
I thought they could have gotten a 4th, but in the grand scheme of things,
they could have.
If the GM's good, you could make something with a 5th round pick. But
maybe they just got a good relationship because you absolutely could have put the feet to the fire and said,
well,
I would have at 259. I would have said, "What you gonna do? You gonna just continue to
pick, bro? And for a good team with a 4th round pick, what is that?
4th round pick.
My thing is, even see Andrew Berry. They don't understand. The longer this season go, you're gonna start thinking about certain things. Like what pick was Jamari Thrash?
5th.
157, 155.
Wasn't he a
something
fifth?
It was one.
I don't know.
We heard about him all offseason. You got rid of receivers. We still ain't seen him. What's the deal?
He was 156, by the way.
What does that have to do with anything?
What I'm saying is, they are not good at evaluating. If you got rid of a receiver,
who did they get rid of?
Amari Cooper.
They did well. It's a couple of reasons. One, everything was just not working. First of all,
okay.
Second of all, they was trying to get rid of him before the season even started.
I know that, but
what I'm
G
saying
does make a point. Why can't Thrash get any action?
Why can't he even
over who?
I mean, they have
who?
They got 3 receivers.
Okay, which one is he gonna get it over?
The same receivers that contributed to a 2-7 record.
No, why can't?
Like, what do you mean? Like, you can't work him in?
If he's the 4th wide receiver on the team.
When do we go 4 wide?
All the time.
No, we don't. No, we do not.
Well, wait a second. Wait a second. Hold on.
We talk about empty every week.
Yeah, but hold on.
With tight ends.
With a tight end and a back.
Even when you have 3 receivers, you don't use the same 3 receivers on every single play.
Okay, so who's rotating? Who's the guy that's rotating?
Elijah Moore can rotate.
No, I'm saying if you're saying that they rotate the wide receiver, so you got the 3 starters. So when one of them gets tired and somebody goes in, who's the guys coming in?
Has it been? I don't even know who's been in that.
Nobody.
All right, that's my point.
Do we have snap counts for the Browns game?
My point right there.
My point
Was
is,
Thrash even active? I don't even remember.
He's active.
Yeah, okay.
I'll look at the report. He's active.
Hey, you brought Kadarius Toney in.
He can't get off. He can't get off P squad. Can
he on practice squad? Can't
they
you
can elevate
see?
him. They could just elevate him for one game.
This is my problem.
He's like Stonehands from remember Necessary Roughness? Have you guys seen that movie?
But
Thrash has played 11 snaps this season.
But
this season he's played 11.
But this the thing, y'all. We're not gonna sit here. If they was killing it in practice, you mean to tell me you think they wouldn't put them in the game?
No,
are you sick?
No, but that's G's point.
Are you ill? You are ill.
No, I don't believe
you ain't not sick. You are ill.
No, I do not believe that they understand who the best people on their team are.
Well,
because I see Kareem Hunt balling.
You can't miss it.
I see Kareem Hunt balling. I see Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt, didn't he lead the team in touchdowns last year?
Thank you.
So what are you talking about?
But what I'm saying, what is Kareem Hunt averaging yards per carry? It's not very good.
Darren Smith called me this morning. We had this conversation. He has 111 carries this season. He's averaged 3.7 yards per carry. His longest rush is 15 yards.
Kareem Hunt.
Hey, listen. Right now,
you are funny for having that just like that.
Here's
McNuggets is really good.
Here's the thing that scares me about the Browns, and this is in general, is that if say for instance they go out and get Travis Hunter, right?
Okay.
Every single playmaker they've ever had, we have had problems with the way they are used. We keep saying, why can't that guy get the ball? Why is this guy not playing?
We didn't have problems. Amari Cooper had 2 great years here.
Hey, what I'm saying is, at the end, what was it?
It was your boy.
At the end,
Jameis Winston got in it, and so
he didn't play with Jameis,
so
did he?
What I'm saying is, if you
so you admitting that your boy was the reason?
No, he was trash too.
Okay.
All I'm saying is this: if you go out and get Travis Hunter, who's gonna say, are you gonna let Travis Hunter play both ways?
Who is?
Oh, somebody will.
Not every play. Nobody's going to let him play both ways.
But they're going to use him.
They should.
Like these other teams, when the Browns come into town, Malik Neighbors.
Who was the last person that played both ways in the NFL? Deion?
Yeah.
The guy in the Patriots, Deion Branch.
Branch.
No.
Troy Hill.
No,
not Troy Hill.
Troy Brown?
Troy Brown.
So by the way, your boy Sam Hubbard played one offensive snap this past week.
He's playing fullback, lead.
Siaki Ika played both ways.
Man, you better
stop. Siaki Ika doesn't play either way, Mike.
Y'all sick.
Hey, we're going to get back to the Browns. And we're going to do a lot more on the trade deadline, but we got to give the Cavs some love.
What else are we going to do? Talk about more trades for 6th round?
We are going to talk about more trades. Who won't be traded? And we're going to get to that after.
Will they trade Elijah Moore for a conditional 7th? That's coming up later in the show.
You know what? It really is. So stay tuned for that. But guys, if you want to check out the Cavs at home, they are 8-0. They have a chance to match they have a chance to beat their franchise best 8-0 on Wednesday night in New Orleans. Then they're back home Friday against the Warriors. If you want to go to that game, You better be using Game Time and using the Game Time Picks feature to get you your tickets to see the Cavs in person. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying your tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. Bull,
Mike,
do you want to say sorry first? Do you want to sing
why do
DJ
I have to say
song?
sorry?
Do you want to?
Hold on. See,
Wait a second.
let me
Just
come,
saying.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Let me come.
just saying.
Let me come to your aid, Bull.
Yeah, thank you.
We gotta stop. We gotta stop doing this in the media.
Yeah, right.
We gotta stop doing this. If you play like garbage one year,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it. If you come back and ball, I am then going to say that as well.
Exactly. It's ridiculous.
What do you mean?
He's 100% right.
He played like dog crap last year. He got his life together. He's balling. I'm happy for him because he's helping us win these games. But why would I apologize?
What did we say? Did he have to retire? I mean, that he's the worst player ever?
I just like busting your chops because now people have turned it into
I know you
watching.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
Darius Garland played awesome last night.
Yes, he did.
He did.
Terrific last
Yes, he did. He was the reason they won.
Come call me when he plays great in a playoff game, all right?
night.
See?
Well, you won't watch before then, so you won't know if he does or not.
See? This is unbelievable.
Hey,
he did play great.
He's killing it right now.
And this is exciting that they've won 8 in a row here.
I can't believe you sometimes.
Why? That's
say it. Go back one more time. So you said if they play like garbage,
Yeah.
you supposed to say they play like garbage.
Yeah, what are we supposed to say?
I'm just okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Did Darius
all
Garland have to apologize?
All I'm
for
gonna
playing like
say.
Yeah.
4,500 after a guy that didn't play particularly that well.
See, here's where people get it misconstrued.
Yeah.
I told people that I would sit him after week 4.
Who?
Me. It's documented. I do all kinds of videos.
I'm just saying before the season started.
Oh, so that proves my point. If before the season I say, y'all, I think he gonna ball out and he gonna kill it, and then you don't,
but
it's easy.
You and I both used to go to battles with everybody else on this panel over this.
Right.
And they had justifiable arguments.
Yeah, they were proven right in the end. That's the way sports work.
Yeah.
There's only one or two outcomes. Either you prove them right or you prove them wrong.
Yeah. We don't owe apologies to players now that they're playing better.
Y'all sat there and said that he should be traded. All of these things.
Yes, we
break
did.
it up. It was done.
How do
Yes,
we know
we
if the
did.
Cavs hadn't traded Darius, they wouldn't be even a better team going for this year?
Yes, we did. We said
You
that.
trust them to do that?
No.
All right,
But-
then.
but
That's
we-
how I know.
No, and-
That's how I know.
And as soon as players apologize to us when they suck,
McNuggets was right there with him. So I don't know why he acted like that.
Yeah,
But
well,
you
that's true.
literally.
I never said trade Darius.
Yes, you did.
No, I never in a million years.
Oh, you
would
know
watch
what?
every
You know
team.
what? You right. You right. What you said was you said that you don't think when it came to something about the Jaylen Brown thing, you was like, I don't think Darius will ever amount to being a great number 2 or something like that.
I don't think he'll ever be
That's
on
what
the
you
team.
said.
here's the
Jaylen
reality of the situation, that no matter how well they play in the regular season, if they don't get to at least the Eastern Conference Finals this year, we're going to be saying the same things next year.
And that's fair, but we have months to get there.
Yeah.
They are 8-0. They have tied the best start in
He was
franchise
phenomenal
history.
last night.
Last night, Jason,
Yeah.
I was sitting next to Jason for the game.
Lucky you.
I've been to a lot of Cavs games since I moved here,
Yeah.
both as media and as a fan. It is incredible that on a random Monday night in November, 8 games into the season, it had that kind of atmosphere already.
You know what's funny? Mike is like so excited about this. You know, well, I was here for only the second LeBron run. You guys
I
were
was
here
here
for
for the
both
first,
LeBron
yeah.
runs. Like, that was that for every game when LeBron was here.
It hasn't been like that since I've
Yeah,
been
no.
here.
Very
Well, because
true.
they had, you know,
like I think the Cavs and the city of Cleveland is a really good basketball city when they good. Like the people
And-
show up and it's one of the toughest places to play. The crowd is excellent. They do a good job of staying in it. So I'm not surprised that the crowd is
but
like that.
But the biggest part of it, Mike, is not because they're good. It's because of the winning streak.
Oh, I agree. Yeah,
If they were 6-1 going into last night, it wouldn't have been the same buzz.
100%.
Which is great. 6-1 would have been great. But it's now every game they add to this winning streak.
Did the
And
Thunder,
now you're going to set the franchise
is the
record.
Thunder
you
still
know.
undefeated?
Yeah, the Thunder are 7-0.
Thunder. Da-da-da-da.
A couple of things from last night. I wonder if you guys picked up on this. So
yeah,
they've now played 3 games in 4 nights, 8 games in 13 days to start the season. After the game, they all talked about being exhausted. And Donovan, in particular, said, I made my first 2 shots, and then I just didn't have my legs. I was off. And down the stretch, he deferred to Darius, who had the most energy of any of the guys on the court. And Darius obviously played terrific down the stretch. Him and Dame battling and dueling in the fourth quarter was must-see TV. Jason had written an article 2 years ago in Donovan's first season here about Donovan's unwillingness to trust the other guys in big moments, in big spots, how he still felt he had to be the guy if the Cavs were going to reach their peak and their ceiling. And last night he said, I know I'm maturing because I was okay stepping back and letting Darius lead us down the stretch. And it stretches letting Evan be the focal point of the offense. And Jarrett, who doesn't get the offensive touches the other guys do, being the focal point on defense, leading the break. And I think it's pretty cool and pretty telling that this early in the season, Donovan's already like, all right, not my night tonight. You know, I had the game winner on Saturday. Tonight's not my night. It is what it is. I'm going to be the best decoy possible and let the guys who are feeling it lead us to a win. And that's exactly what Darius, Evan, and Jarrett did down the stretch.
That does take a lot of growth. You know, I think that he, like I said, he's building the trust. Obviously, I like to see that come playoff time, and obviously those guys got to step up and play up to this magnitude in the playoffs as well. But that's just being smart. You basketball is one of those times where you can just tell, like, it's his night. Give him the ball. Just give him the ball. Get out the way. It's not. But I'm not about to stop him from doing this thing. I remember actually recency. It was back when Kevin Durant and Kyrie was playing together on the Nets. And Kyrie was going insane. And Kevin just continued to get the ball and just give it to him and just move out the way. I think he had like 3 shots on the game. And Kyrie just went off. So it is one of those things that you just know. You can feel it. Like, that dude hot. Get him the ball. And Donovan did a good job of that. Listen, Donovan knew if it came down, actually it did get kind of sticky. It did get sticky, actually. Now that I see her,
they were down.
They was down.
The third quarter was bad.
Comeback.
Third quarter
because they was up by like 13 going into half or something like that.
Yeah. 73-60 at half, and they only scored 16 points in the third half. Ended the fourth down.
And then they let the white AJ Green kill him. Like, I was like, this dude. I was like, AJ Green, who is this?
He can hoop.
This dude, I said, man, is it the corner for the Browns, or is it the receiver for the Bengals?
I thought
different AJ Green.
I actually kind of thought that they was gonna run away with it. Giannis wasn't playing, so I'm like, oh yeah, they.
Nah,
didn't happen.
I mean, they don't get me wrong. They started the game off. They was rolling them, and then they let them come back. Then they rolled them again. Then they let them come back, and they found themselves in the fight.
I think more than anything, if the Cavs going to be good, the mentality has to be Donovan didn't let us do nothing. There comes a point in time where you all automatically, and it happens to you, you like, oh, I'm him. Like, I'm him too. Like don't get it twisted. You nice. You doing your thing. You hit a game-winning jumper, but I'm one of them dudes too. And for the Cavs to be anything that they want to be, or beating the Celtics, Evan Mobley, as well as Darius Garland, have to develop the mentality, I'm him too. Like, if you got a dude on me that's a mismatch, I'm going at you immediately. It can't be, Donovan, let us get this off. No, ain't no let.
That's right.
Ain't no let. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing today. That's how we're moving today.
Right, because in a big spot, in like the playoffs, it feels like Donovan's the only one that you trust. But if you if you have 3 guys,
you got to develop that.
But you watched the Cavs last year. Donovan was the only person that anybody trusted.
No, I know, but G's saying that if you're going to get where you want to get, it can't just be Donovan.
They have to.
They've been saying for like 2 years, if they want to get to where they want to get, then Evan has to be the best player.
So, and by the way, shout out to
the good news is they got like 3 people that can just take over a game at any given moment.
If Evan Mobley gonna get the ball and go down court and dunk on people like that.
Yeah, we used to talk about this, G. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm pulling up the play right now.
By the way, he had a highlight and Jarrett Allen had a highlight. Your bigs, remember before this season I talked about it, I said you have an advantage with your 2 athletic bigs. You guys can run the floor. You need to push the pace. Little did I know that pushing the pace meant that they was going to let Evan Mobley go coast my coast. Look at him. Baby. Oh, baby.
With the left.
That was How often did we see something like that last year from him?
Never. And this was, by the way, so this was part of a 3-play sequence. Stevie just let this play. The play before this, Craig Porter Jr. set a ball screen for Mobley.
With the left.
Mobley went past his guy, and they switched, dunked on him. Then they come back on defense, block coast to coast. After the game, Kenny Atkinson said, I tell Evan every day in practice, do more of this. Get a rebound, go. Don't find a guard, you take it up. Good things happen when you bring it up. Evan's still not 100% comfortable doing that as frequently as they want, but it's something that you should see more and more on this season. And then the very next play after this, they run a pick and pop. He steps back, hit a 3. Yep. It was the most beautiful 2-minute sequence we've seen of Evan Mobley's entire career to this point.
And he looked so comfortable. He didn't look uncomfortable taking the ball.
It's why I tell you. I'm trying to tell y'all this, man. Y'all be thinking I be going crazy. This is why coaching matters. You got J.B. Bickerstaff that set this man on a baseline and had him an afterthought. You bring Atkinson in and you say, hey, listen, I'm showing you we need more of this. I don't care if you turn the ball over. I need you to be doing this.
Well, tell him I need one more rebound from him.
Oh, your parlay. He messed your parlay up. I can't, next time go for 6.
Look what it brings back up.
I did put 6.
Steve, Michael, can you bring that back up, that last graphic, Mobley stats for the year?
Mobley season stats? Yeah, 1 sec.
Look at these stats. I know it's only 8 games, but
40%.
He's averaged almost 18%. 18 points a game, 18 and 8. With 54% and 40 from 3 with 3 assists. What do you average per game assists before this year?
Like 2.1 in that same area.
Well, you say in that same area.
Well, but I mean, it's 33% increase.
That's more than that.
Well, 2.1 to 2.8.
Oh, all right, fair. Yeah, it's 30.
He's shooting 54. Right. I take 54% from the floor.
40 from Trey.
Now the volume still isn't there. They still want to shoot more threes.
There.
No. I agree, but I'm saying 40 points. It's not like Evan Mobley's a 40.3 point shooter. He's minimal volume, but you take it.
But
that's respectable.
But like his coach is saying, it's encouraging people to do certain things that they normally would not do that opens their game up. Like I always go back to it. Like, Steve Kerr, people talk about Steph Curry. For every person in the world, Steph Curry shoots horrible shots. But Steve Kerr had the insight to say, that's not a bad shot for him. Like,
I don't think there's any such thing as a bad shot for him.
But you know how many coaches would have said, oh, no, we don't want that shot.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or if LeBron was 6'8" or 6'9", they put him in a post, and they're like, no, he's the point guard. He needs to have the ball. So for me, I just love the fact that you can hear Kenny Atkinson saying those things, because what it'll do, it'll pay off down the line. I want him to get comfortable doing that now. So when the playoffs come, I'm still doing that.
Kenny Atkinson, the early favorite for Coach of the Year.
Bottom line, Evan didn't put it on tape. Therefore, we need to see it. We need to see it some more. Like, you can't just do it one time.
Teams are going to adjust.
We know you can do it. You just did it. I want to see it again.
I'm excited about the Golden State game on
Friday. It's going to be awesome. Yeah.
What is Steph back? Did he mess his ankle up?
They're off to a great start, aren't they? Only have one loss.
Their record right now is 6-1. So right now it's 6-1 versus 8-0. They both play on Wednesday, so they'll have a game before. But it should be another really good contest. One last thing on Darius Garland I want to mention, and Steve, you could run these highlights. If you didn't see some of his highlights from last night, he was incredible. But more impressive than the scoring, in the 2 games against the Bucks, he had 19 assists and 2 turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that is up in the upper echelon. This whole season, his assist-to-turnover ratio is in the same category as Luka, SGA, and the top point guards in basketball. When he is playing that efficient and shooting as well as he did, he's not going to shoot 7-11 from 3 every game and 15 to 22 from the floor. That's asking too much. But for the most part, if you can get 50% and close to 40% from Garland with the assist-to-turnover efficiency he's playing with, I don't know why Tag Board keeps freezing in the middle there, but because Social News Desk sucks, it's a disaster. But you can't ask for much more than Darius Garland. And you go back to his entire career, obviously that 51-point performance against the Timberwolves is probably the best game he's ever played. I'd put last night up there right in the same category, that 51-point performance, maybe his second-best game he's ever played in the NBA.
He just looks more decisive. Like, he's not dribbling around, ringing around the rosy. He's getting to the lane, floater. He's getting to the lane. Oh, you came up with a floater. I lobbed to Jarrett Allen.
You know why? The joy is back.
Yeah. The joy's back.
Speaking
right now, they look like a team that could win a championship, don't they?
I agree.
Again, it's way early, and so they have a ton to prove.
Speaking of the
right now, they look
speaking of the joy is back. Shout out to the Buckeyes, man. They won 1-0. We got us a little Steph Curry on the team. Judy Mobley.
Oh, they won their first game?
Got a clip.
Buckeye basketball?
Yes.
Did you just compare some random dude on the Buckeyes to Steph Curry?
We don't,
All right.
Yeah, that's outrageous. I'm going to shoot that down. Last thing on the Cavs.
All right.
Buckeye basketball.
All right.
Buckeye basketball. You might as well talk field
All
hockey.
right. I'm okay.
Last thing on the Cavs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I asked Kenny after the game. It's like, hey, coach, I know you got much bigger.
I like when Mike calls him Kenny, like they're buddies.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Kenny likes
I was talking to Kenny after the game.
We got a good start to his tenure here, but I said it's a long season. You have bigger aspirations, but do you guys celebrate little things like tying the franchise record for an 8-0 start? And he looked at the PR guy and goes, "That's the best start in team history." And he's like, "It ties it." He's like, "I didn't even know." That's how singularly focused they are on what's next and not looking at outside distractions. Donovan acknowledged he knew it tied the franchise record yesterday, but I kind of love the fact that they don't care about that whatsoever.
Well, you just ruined it because you just told me.
If they lose tomorrow,
Mike's
play
fault.
Mike.
I didn't ask the first question. Someone asked the first question.
It is 8. Like they had to get to like 19 before it gets trippy and people say
didn't the Heat do that?
Yeah.
No, the Warriors started 23 or 24-0. The Heat won 26 in a row in the middle of the season.
Okay.
But that wasn't the start. So, also, if you want more Cavs talk, Jason and I are doing an Ultimate Cavs show tonight, either 7 or 7:30. It depends on Jason's ability to hop in front of the camera.
You should know your time, 8 hours before.
Listen, when you're on Jason Lloyd's schedule, you are up in the air.
You never know what he's getting up to.
So make sure you guys check that out. We'll have some more Cavs talk tonight. But we're going to head back to the Browns. A reminder that today's show is sponsored by BetterHelp. October was the season for wearing masks and costumes, but some of us feel like we wear masks and need to hide more often than we want to at work, in social settings, around your family. But therapy can help you learn to accept all parts of yourself so you can take off the mask, because even though masks are fun on Halloween, they're not fun when it comes to our emotions. So take off the mask with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOn today to get 10% off your first month. That is BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOn.
Folks, we've been on the air for 2.5 years, roughly. We're approaching, it'll be 2.5 years on the 9th of November, right? Yes. We are about 2,500 subscribers away from 50,000 to Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. So if by some chance you're watching, you haven't subscribed already, or if your friend hasn't, while you're going out to vote, hit the subscribe button. 2 things you must do today: vote and hit the subscribe button for the show. Mike?
And the like button.
Let's talk real quick. Trade deadline is in 4 hours and 18 minutes. I know we talked about this Darius trade before, but if I gave you over-under, half a Browns player to be traded. So if one guy gets traded, that's the over. So more than
Thanks
one.
for clarifying. I didn't realize that.
Not for you, Bull. This is for people out there who may not be up to date on their gambling terms.
Yeah.
Will another Browns player get traded before the 4 p.m. deadline? And if so, who do you think it is?
I got the under.
Under?
Yes, it's
Jed Wills.
Well, you just said under, though.
No, I'm taking the under.
Yeah, if Darius Smith got traded and they got them little scrap picks.
Yeah.
I don't think they got enough people on the roster that people even want, or in a situation where it's going to be meaningful. So I'm going under.
I want to say over because I feel like maybe they will, but I can't. I'm trying to think. Okay, let's discuss the players that could be traded today and come up with the guy we think
most likely. So see, Jason Lloyd, this is how you play along.
That's right, Jason Lloyd.
You play along.
Jason.
Jason would be like,
get your crap together, Jason.
Barney Rubble.
All right. So on offense, possible trade candidates: Jameis, Elijah Moore, David Njoku, Wyatt Teller, Jedrick Wills.
Greg Newsome.
On the defense, Greg Newsome.
Dalvin Tomlinson.
Yep.
Dalvin Tomlinson.
Thornhill,
I guess. Denzel Ward.
No.
Doubt it.
Never.
And then special teams, Bojorquez.
Never.
I don't think they trade punters, right? But we'll throw them in there.
Rare, but what do you know?
Maybe somebody wants.
So there we go. That's 10 guys.
Okay.
Who do you, If I said to you, one of those 10 guys is going to get traded today, who was it?
Elijah Moore.
Elijah Moore.
I think people would want either Njoku or Tomlinson.
They ain't getting rid of Njoku. They already said that. They shot that down yesterday.
I mean, but David Njoku, they're going to they got to have locker room guys there and veterans when they are rebuilding to kind of do, because you can ruin young players if you're just the only guys that you're on a rebuild. So Dalvin Tomlinson is somebody where you can do that because you got Mike Hall Jr. Maybe you want a different body type in there. You know,
you got a lot of veterans on the D-line anyway.
Right, you still got Hurst, you got Shelby Harris. I think Tomlinson would be a good move.
Tomlinson, Genu, or Elijah.
The thing with Greg Newsome is, if it depends if they're thinking they're going to re-sign him. Because if you're going to re-sign him, you probably don't trade him.
Well, that's the thing. Has his value went up or down this year? What do you think?
I think it stayed the same. Yeah, I'm with you. I think
so. If that's the case, what's Nichols? Mike? You know what an average Nichols making nowadays?
I could try and find it, but they're probably all slotted by cornerback. So give me a second. I could try and sort it.
I would say the average,
like 12, 13, 15.
I would just say 8 to 10. You think it's that much? 15 average?
Not an average, no.
Oh, I thought you said average.
No,
I mean, he's not.
You mean like the top guys, right?
Yeah, but he's not getting. He's not a
top guy.
I think my sneaky under the radar is Njoku.
It was reported last night.
Yeah, that he wouldn't get traded.
That they're probably not going to trade him.
Who reported that?
Jordan Schultz.
Who we like.
I like Jordan Schultz. All right, but it doesn't mean he's definitely right.
Jordan Schultz watches the show, by the way, so shout out to Jordan.
No, I like Jordan.
Does he really?
Yeah.
I like Jordan,
I've
but
got a few
it doesn't mean he's going to be right. Like, these guys that do that, and he's an up and comer in the breaking news game, Jordan Schultz. But
he's been right more than he's wrong.
Well, yeah, he does a good job, but doesn't mean he's going to be right every
trade.
time.
I could see them. Here's the reason I could see them keeping him.
Yeah.
Who? Genu?
No, Njoku, because it's like it's almost like you got to keep some guys around to like hang out with Myles Garrett. Like let's him we're gonna keep him around to keep Myles Garrett and Nick Chubb company while we take these L's.
By the way, have we officially confirmed G? Because G and I both have gotten DMs from the guy who I think is Myles Garrett's dad.
Yes.
Do we know for sure that it's Myles Garrett's dad?
I was able to confirm that with Mary Kay.
Well, yesterday, he hasn't been tweeting much. Mm-hmm. And I haven't heard from him DM-wise in a while. I don't know about you. But there was I saw somebody tweeting something about, Myles Garrett has earned the right that if he wants to be traded, then the Browns should trade him. And if he wants to be a Brown for life, then he should be a Brown for life. And that guy, Myles' dad, insinuated in a reply to that he thinks Myles would want to be traded.
Now,
but I don't think they'll trade him during the season.
I've always stood that because I've always, just from my interaction, I've always had a feeling that if it got too bad and it was losing again, that he would eventually be like, "No, I want to win."
Yeah.
And I thought it would always be even more likely because he's already won a Defensive Player of the Year award. Like, it's almost like I've given you all I got. I didn't complain. I played hurt, but at some point in time, you want to ball out. Now, that's the thing that
the only thing left for him is the ring.
It's the ring. So for me, and this is why I thought about it like this. Maybe there's a situation where if you're the Cleveland Browns, I know we're not even talking about that, but if you're going back into the draft and you're trying to find a young quarterback, and Jason Lloyd said this after we were done with the show, he's like, maybe it makes more sense that you try to do an Anthony Richardson, a Bryce Young, or even like a Justin Fields or something to at least keep some of the, something intact. Because when you draft a quarterback, and just to be clear, you're going to have to draft one. If you draft a quarterback, that signals to Myles Garrett, that signals to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But
at this point, does Anthony Richardson or Bryce Young make you feel better than any draft pick?
No. Not really.
Yeah, I mean Justin Fields is a veteran at this point.
Yeah,
so
it's not.
He feels like a stopgap.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's what all three of those.
All three of them is.
Well, I mean, I don't think we know for sure about those guys. Haven't played enough.
Right. So if you telling me, all right, well, you would have to go back again to your evaluations that you had on them.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Sure.
You guys had evaluations, so they got evaluations and tape. But here's the thing. Just know that if those stopgaps don't work, they gonna get you.
Yeah.
You got to put your career on it.
Yeah.
Like, you see what I'm saying?
I see. We see this all the time, but it's so hard to believe that guys whose job is to if you're a GM, a scout, whatever, to analyze football players, could see Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud and think that Bryce Young is a better player. How did that happen? How does that happen?
There is a lot of bias in the way people think about the players that they like.
Yeah.
The truth be told, in that draft, they said if Bryce Young was 6'3", they said he'd be the best quarterback in that draft. That's what they were saying.
But he's been now, and it's not an apples to apples comparison. Houston's got better talent.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard to really tell with him because he has nobody.
But he looks so lost out there.
They just beat the Saints.
He did look better
Saints
Sunday.
Terrible.
But he still won that game.
Yeah, I didn't see
Well,
it.
if you go back and I listen to a ton of draft podcasts just because I like that kind of stuff. Bryce Young had some level of savviness that there was no intangible way to copy, and people were worried that C.J. Stroud was a product of Ohio State having the greatest receivers ever.
Yeah, I guess, but
that was the knock on him.
I
agree.
CJ struggling right now.
The guys whose job it is. It's not our job.
Oh, I agree. They
to
totally
predict, to know for sure who's going to be good. That's their job. That's why we're like, well, that guy knows more than you. Maybe he does, but he gets it wrong all the time.
Well, if you remember, Frank Reich, who was the coach, wanted C.J. Stroud and was overruled by the owner,
right?
Who wanted Bryce Young because he ordered scallops at a steakhouse, and he goes, "This guy's different."
Anthony is sick. Anthony's sick back there.
I think
sick, like he's really sick.
No, like he got a problem.
He just picked up Bryce.
He got a problem, man.
He's funny.
Picked up Bryce Young
just now. Hey, you know the scary part about it is you going into this season, and this is so much pressure because I've always said when you miss, even going back and revisit the Deshaun Watson situation. The Deshaun Watson stuff didn't start now. That stuff started when you took Baker Mayfield over Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson.
What are you talking about?
Well, here's what I'm saying. What I mean is, when you miss on a quarterback, everybody gets fired and they move on.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you take John Dorsey back right now?
Yes, probably. But because the best players they have are John Dorsey players, and I don't see the development from the new guys. So we back between a rock and a hard place, and then they get knocked by this too. I also hold it against them a little bit like, hey, you let Flacco walk.
Wait a minute.
You let him walk.
Wait a minute. Who used your top 5 Browns players?
Myles Garrett, Nick Chubb.
That was pre-Dorsey, wasn't it?
I'm just trying to see if you're correct about this.
Myles Garrett, Nick Chubb, Denzel Ward, Joe Bitonio.
JOK.
JOK.
Okay,
right?
so JOK is the only one that Kevin and AB has something to do with?
But they also, if you go back and you continue down, Wyatt Teller.
Yeah, he was traded for him. Gave him nothing
traded for him.
Yeah.
Who traded for him? Dorsey?
Was David Njoku here before?
Yep.
He was here when I was here. That was Sashi though.
That was Sashi.
Okay, so
that was the year they had 3 first-round picks.
Yeah,
correct.
And they had
they took Miles, Peppers, and David.
So all their best players basically are guys that.
I mean, hey, I can't argue that.
And then
I can't argue.
The only pushback I'd give, and I don't disagree at all.
Corey Bajorquez.
Well, no. But the Deshaun Watson trade, which is a black mark on the resume. They haven't had first-round picks because of that deal.
Right.
They don't
He made that trade.
I'm not saying they get a pass for. I'm just saying when you look at guys they drafted, it's mostly second, third-round guys.
Who did Houston take with those picks? CJ and who?
No, CJ.
CJ was not. They used one pick to trade up for Will Anderson. It wasn't. They had the 12th pick from the Browns. They used that to trade up.
He would have been a top pick, a player on our team. Go ahead.
But they could. Will Anderson wasn't there with the pick.
They had to trade.
They traded the pick with their own pick.
Didn't they get Tank Dell with one of the picks?
They took Tank Dell and they took Kenyon Green, who has been terrible.
Okay.
So
Would you have faith in Andrew Berry taking the best receiver out of this class?
No.
I mean, that's where we at now.
Would you?
That's why I keep saying when they keep trading for these picks, do you trust him to make the pick? Do you trust him to get it right? I think we're giving off his recent resume. It's very hard to say you are.
Let me ask this too. If you draft a quarterback, do you want him to run Kevin Stefanski's offense?
Well, I think that dictates what quarterback you get. Because I know how you feel about the whole offense.
I just left it out. I left the blanket statement for
in a perfect world, the Browns draft a quarterback and signed a veteran that can start the season. Even if that means the rookie doesn't play for 3-4 weeks, whatever it is. This way, there's not this pressure to rush the quarterback in before he's ready.
That's
not the question though. The
question is,
do you basically are you saying do you trust Kevin Stefanski's offense? That's basically what he's doing. Can Kevin Stefanski's offense win you a Super Bowl? That's where you're at.
I think
that's
can.
the question.
That's the question. If you
I think it can, but I'm not 100. I don't feel 100% confident. in that.
So what I would say is Kevin's offense, not the new spin with all the shotgun. Okay. Kevin's offense.
So they're gonna fire Dorsey then?
No, I don't think so, because I think Dorsey brings in his shotgun element of it, which quarterbacks want to play in the gun nowadays.
Oh, okay.
I think that if you talking about just Kevin's offense.
Yeah.
Kevin's offense is a staple of Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Kevin O'Connell. They all work from under center a lot. It's all play action and zone reads. Those three two of them. Well, three, because Kevin O'Connell, when he was with the Rams, they went to the Super Bowl. So to answer your question in a nutshell, yes.
Well, let me give you this. So the top 4 quarterbacks in the draft: Shedeur Sanders, gun. Carson Beck, gun.
He's terrible. He's regressed.
Oh, okay. Well,
I would not want him.
Quinn Ewers
regressed.
Okay.
But Ewers plays in shotgun, but it's a pro style offense. He's the closest fit.
Here's the one thing the Browns cannot do: they cannot draft a quarterback if he's not worthy of that pick. And teams do that all the time because they feel like we need a quarterback.
But
the guy's not worthy.
Daniel Jones dilemma.
If you're in the top five, they said you gotta you 100% got to take the quarterback.
But why? If there's nobody worth the top, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. If I think that who's the Beck? Okay, I know
Carson Beck.
All right, but let's say you think Carson Beck is the second best quarterback in the draft, but he's 15th overall on your board. Yes, if I'm 5, I take him. But if I think Carson Beck's really a third-round pick,
I wouldn't take him.
I'm not taking him. I don't care if he's the second best quarterback.
So to me, there's 2 options.
Yeah.
I think Cam Ward is really, really nice.
Yeah.
But he's predominantly under shotgun.
How tall is he? Is he?
He's like 6'1".
He's not a huge guy.
Let me see.
He is
Cam Ward or Shedeur?
Cam Ward.
He's 6'2".
And so Shedeur is what?
Like 6'1", 6'2". Neither of them are giants.
Not giants. But if you watch Cam Ward play, which is scary, he plays like the brother of Deshaun Watson. Like he plays like he's cool. Like he likes to improvise. Some of the throws he makes is ridiculous. His arm is crazy. But I ain't seen Cam Ward get under center, turn his back to the defense, run play action, and throw the ball out. Like none of these quarterbacks do any of that.
Yeah.
So my thing is like we're at a place where they're gonna have to really right now hurry up and evaluate. What do you guys want to do?
I just think teams that draft a quarterback out of desperation, when they don't maybe fully believe he's the guy, it always goes wrong.
We might be there.
What's it looking like for the 26th draft?
I'm gonna be honest with you because I talked to.
He's going to be the best guy, Arch Manning,
probably. And the Nico kid from Tennessee.
That kid from Tennessee is a monster.
Yeah, he like 6'5". I talked to Daniel Jeremiah. Who's on? We did it for the pregame.
Yeah.
Our last question was about the quarterbacks, and he said, to be honest with you, this is going to be a weak quarterback class. He said, like, it's going to be the spring of Shedeur. Everybody's going to talk about Shedeur.
Yeah.
Then it'll be Cam. But he said Carson Beck, Quinn Ewers, and it was somebody else. Nutsmeyer.
So it's only Shedeur. Is Shedeur considered elite?
Some people like Cam Ward at the same level as Shedeur. Those are
Cam Ward.
The two guys.
He's nice.
Cam Ward just do some, like, it's like, if you watch him play, like that Miami dig themselves in the hole, and he'll just more Superman the thing and just come back and just start throwing touchdowns.
He'd be throwing,
but it's not like he going like boom. All right, let's not that. It's like he might have to move around a little bit, improvise.
Johnny Manziel, like
not to that magnitude.
It's like, once again, it's like
he's a playmaker at quarterback.
It's like Deshaun Watson, like at Clemson. Like, he's not really that fast, but he never really gets hit.
Shedeur Sanders, is he like what level? Is he
Shedeur can
Jason Randall's level athleticism?
No. He's a pocket passer.
Yeah, no Shedeur. But what you like about Shedeur, so this is the one thing that Shedeur really has going for him. It's because his offensive line hasn't been great. So he's thrown under pressure a lot, and he still makes really good throws under pressure.
Do I want a 6'1" quarterback who's a pocket passer?
Now, here's
nothing wrong with that.
Here's the thing. Here's the things that people are going to hate about Shedeur. He hold that ball. He takes a lot of sacks. He takes a lot.
But his offensive line also, again, isn't great.
But when you come from the era where we come from,
you got to get the ball out.
Where you didn't see Deshaun Watson hold the ball.
Yeah.
You watch Baker hold the ball. You saw Johnny Manziel hold the rock. You be like, man, listen, it's cool to play make and stuff like that. And when he throws it and spins it,
what's
beautiful.
What's the dude from LSU? How tall is he?
Garrett Nussmeier.
Yeah.
Garrett Nussmeier is, and we should have Mary Kay on here in 1 second.
How did we get to this conversation?
We were talking, do you trust the Browns? Trade
this
players
is where
into draft picks. Nussmeier's listed at 6'2", 200 pounds. We're going to bring Mary Kay in 1 sec, but G. Bush is going to have a live Ultimate Brown show at 4 o'clock as soon as the deadline ends. So if there's any deals the Browns make between now and 4 o'clock, at 4 o'clock on the dot, or more like 4:02 knowing G. Bush, he will be live with an Ultimate Brown show to recap and update you guys on all the moves, the wheelings, and dealings the Browns make. So make sure you guys tune into that. We're going to bring Mary Kay on after a quick word from FanDuel. You can get ready to tackle all of the NFL's action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if they win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out all the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to join today. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And with that, let's welcome Mary Kay to the show. How you doing today, Mary Kay?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
We're excited about trade deadline day. I mean, unfortunately, the Browns not buyers; they're sellers. Darius Smith, essentially for a 5th-round pick. They'll exchange picks the following year. Do you expect them to trade anybody else today, Mary Kay?
I do. I think they'll try to make a couple of other minor trades and clear out a couple of guys that maybe they don't have use for anymore this year. One of the small ones would be Quentin Jefferson, if they can find somebody to give them something in return for him. Probably won't be easy to get someone who's on an expiring contract for just an 8-game rental. But if someone needs a good defensive tackle who can get some pressure up the middle, then perhaps they'll move him. One that I'm just keeping an eye on is Elijah Moore for whatever reason, because he had just a little bit of a rocky middle to the season there. He wasn't getting targets. He got frustrated. He got benched. And I really feel like they want to get Jamari Thrash onto the field, and that it would be easier for them to do that if they cleared out a spot there. So maybe they'll try to do something with him. I don't see David Njoku moving. I don't see some of these other guys moving. I don't think they can get anything right now for Jed Wills since he has just been benched. So it's probably not going to be as active as some people had hoped.
Mary Kay, what went wrong? How did we get from Jameis going for 300 yards until all these interceptions and the offense looking stagnant last week?
Well, the Ravens defense, as we must remember, and I tried to kind of put this out there quite a bit, was the fact that it was the 32nd ranked pass defense minus 2 of their best cornerbacks. And they simplified things with some backups on the field, and they made things, just a little bit easier to pass the ball against them for. So I think that had a lot to do with it, that Jameis faced a better defense, a better pass defense. This was the 9th ranked pass defense, but we also must remember that he had 3 interceptions dropped against that Ravens 32nd ranked pass defense. So the foreshadowing was already there. And then by the time he had the 3 picked off, he was up to 5 dropped interceptions. So the signs were there that he was still kind of slinging it around. And I know sometimes you have to do that to get back in the game in the second half like that. The conditions obviously were not ideal at that point. He didn't get the support from the defense that he needed on that particular day. But this just is, it shows, it's a sign that, perhaps, and I wrote this after the game, perhaps Jameis wasn't going to be the fix earlier in the season when they had even worse problems than they do now.
Mary Kay, just to follow up on that, do you think they stick with Jameis? I know that Kevin said that he wanted to, keep Jameis as the starter. Do you think that that's the right move, or do you think we see DTR at some point?
Well, that's what he said before the bye week. Sometimes you go in there and you break everything down, you figure everything out, and you see that maybe you want to do something a little bit different than what you were doing. For now, I still do think that they're going to go with Jameis. He's going back to New Orleans. That is a very, very winnable game. They just fired their coach, and they're 2-7 as well. So I think that they probably will stick with Jameis for right now. The team probably just needs a little bit of continuity. But once again, things might change when you're coming out of a bye week and you get a lot of people involved in the evaluation. And so we'll see how that goes. I do think at some point we will see more DTR this season. And I'm also curious, why not take a look at Bailey Zappi? You have him in the building. Once he gets up and running, once he really understands the system, if you want to evaluate him in your scheme with your players to see what you have in him for next year, then why not go ahead and do that? Because obviously they have quarterback decisions they have to make.
Yeah, to me, Mary Kay, they have to get a new quarterback next year somehow. I mean, I don't know if they're going to draft somebody or take a veteran, whatever. But the reason I would keep playing Jameis is because I think he gives you a better chance to evaluate some of your players around him. Like Cedric Tillman has really stood out the last 3 weeks, and I'm curious. They've blown so many draft picks under Andrew Berry. We thought they blew it with Tillman, and now he's looked like a legitimate player with Jameis Winston. So I kind of want Jameis to play to see if Cedric Tillman continues to progress to become a legitimate starting wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, that's a great point, and they should do that because so much of these final 8 games are going to be about what do they have for the future. And they do need to find out what they can do with some of those guys. And of course, we know that Dorian and Ced have a very nice connection together from having gone to high school together. And I still think that Ced would be getting the ball with him. But you're right, they probably should keep the veteran quarterback in there who's got a lot of games under his belt, a lot of starts under his belt, and see what they can't do. But if he keeps throwing interceptions, I don't know how long Kevin Stefanski is going to let him stay in there, because he absolutely hates interceptions, and you can't function that way when you're throwing the ball to the other team. So he's going to have to get that cleaned up. But if he can do that, I would probably start him for probably a handful of more games and then maybe turn things over to the younger guys.
Mary Kay, I'm just sitting here and I'm putting myself in Myles Garrett's shoes. And I'm sitting here as we talk about this stuff right now, and I'm behind these sunglasses just reminiscing and rolling my eyes, because I'm like, wow, we talk about Bailey Zappi and Jameis Winston and maybe DTR, and maybe we could find somebody. How do you sell this to Myles Garrett? How do you with a straight face go in and say, hey, Myles, I know you were here when we tore it down to the studs, but if you stick around, you at least can wear the Browns uniform until you retire. Like, if I'm Myles Garrett, I'm looking like I can't be Joe Thomas. I can't, I'm too good of a player that I want to at least one day in my life say, yo, I'm on a competitive team. How are the Cleveland Browns selling this rebuild to their veterans? Because this is a rebuild. Like, it's here. We're looking at it. And it ain't going nowhere. We was just talking about quarterbacks from high school and college quarterbacks before you got on. How you sell this to Myles Garrett?
Well, I don't really think that they need to do a massive, massive rebuild. They're going to be keeping a lot of their core players right now. If they weren't going to do that, then they would be trading a Myles Garrett today or trading him at some point before next season. I'm sure Myles is going to want some reassurance that there's a good quarterback coming along somehow, some way. But he loves it here. He wants to stay here. I think you can look at the Pittsburgh model to sort of see how you can dig yourself out of this mess. And they didn't just go out and get one quarterback for this season. They went out and got Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. And by the way, Justin Fields, why not try to get your hands on a guy like that if you're the Cleveland Browns?
Go Bucks.
But, right, I mean, short of that, why not go out and try to do what those guys did, what the Steelers did, and then you don't have to do a massive rebuild. Because if you get the quarterback in place, they have a lot of other pieces. You should be able to get back on track sooner than later if you can find the QB.
So real quick follow-up on that. So you are advocating you would rather go after maybe a bridge guy, Anthony Richardson may be available, Bryce Young may be available, Justin Fields is another name that are younger guys with a little more upside. Do you believe that those names are more viable to keep this thing moving rather than talking about Quinn Ewers or Shedeur Sanders in the draft?
You know, it depends on, we're going to talk to Andrew Berry tomorrow morning. I don't know if they want to go the rookie route unless they find someone like a Jaden Daniels or someone like that they feel like can come in and win games right away. Short of that, I think you'd really want to try to find someone who can keep this train rolling along and get it back on track and maybe contend next season. So maybe you do go with a little bit more of an experienced player. They have a lot of different options. It has to be cost effective, but I think that in some way, shape, or form, if they can find a quarterback who can play winning ball, I don't think they want to go 2-15 next season. I don't think they want to do that. I think they want to get back on track with a football team that still has a lot of football players on it.
Barry Kay, let me ask you about the secondary. Obviously, two bad miscommunications led to two wide open touchdowns. You know, what was the players saying after the game about this, and what are they going to do to fix those things so it doesn't happen? Because to me, I feel like this has been something that's happened for the past 3 years. We've seen it at least once every 3 years, or for the past 3 seasons, I should say.
Well, I have to wonder. I said this on a video after the game that I'm not 100% certain that Denzel Ward should have been playing in that football game. He didn't practice on Wednesday. He didn't practice on Thursday. I know it was a big game, but just 1 week after you got your 6th concussion of your career, 2nd of the season, I probably would have sat him down for that game. And who knows if some of the miscommunication had anything to do with the fact that maybe he just wasn't as sharp as he usually is. Maybe missing practice during the week didn't help matters when they were doing the install for the game. I know you're there for the meetings and all of those kinds of things, but maybe there was something about that just did not go well. We'll see as time goes forward, but they have to communicate a whole lot better in the back end. That was very disappointing. And I'd say the second long one seemed to be more Denzel's guy. I'd say the first one seemed to be more Juan's.
Mary Kay, thanks as always. Be interesting to hear from Andrew Berry, and we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Thanks, Mary Kay. Tyvis, you just asked Mary Kay about the secondary breakdowns. We talked about it yesterday. It's something you've been harping on, as you mentioned, for 2.5 seasons here now. I mean, this is absurd. Two just ridiculous plays.
Absurd is an understatement.
Yeah.
Like, you thought, I take it back to Joe Woods, the Carolina game. Remember, I sat here after that Carolina game. Jay Crawford sat right there in that chair. And I said, you know what? this will never happen again. You only make that mistake one time because it almost cost you a game.
Yeah.
So therefore, you would never make that mistake.
Yeah.
Boom, the Jets game happened.
Yep.
And I say, you know what? Good. It cost them a game.
Yep.
Now that it's cost you a game, 1,000%, you nip it in the bud. Then you go, I think they finished that season. I don't think we had any more. That's a lie. I think we did in the Buffalo game, too. Mm-hmm. We had a nickel that didn't go over. Fact of the matter is, it can be solved just by communicating. And when I say communicating, I'm not talking like yelling to each other, because it gets loud, especially on third downs in that stadium. It gets loud over there. But if you come up with a hand signal, like if you say to me, hey, this is cover 2, this is cloud,
right.
And because the corner is just going to do what you say. As a safety, you look at your safety, first of all right, it goes like this. They call the play. Boom, you break the huddle, which I've never been a fan of the huddles anyway. I've always been a fan of everybody just turn and see the DC. He threw the signal and everybody know. That way you don't have to try to echo it out to all these guys. Everybody see it.
Right.
Anyways, they huddle up.
Why don't they do that? Why don't teams do that?
Because of Connor Stallions. Anyways, so they do their little huddle thing. You break the huddle. Boom. As a safety, you sit there, you wait for them to line up. Once they line up, you see what the formation is. You say, okay, we're going to play cover. We're supposed to play cover 2 to this formation. So you look at the safety, cover 2. Boom. You look to your corner to your side, cover 2. You give him the signal, boom, boom. He give it back. All right, boom. We good. I know that we all on the same page.
It's very simple, Tyvis. Why is it not happening?
Tell me about it.
Tyvis, you know the crazy.
Tell me about it.
The crazy thing is, Tyvis, and every coach in the world done already said it. Hey guys, listen. If we all run the same play, we'll be fine.
If we all wrong, we all
right. We all wrong. We all. If you turn to the sideline and I say cover 3, like you said, the corners are going to play cover 3.
Correct.
So it may not be the perfect coverage for what they're running, but at least you won't have nobody running down the field wide open because somebody thought it was cover 2 and it was cover 3. Hey, if you make the call and you guys are all running the same thing, we can live to fight another down.
Can I see that? Let me see that chart again, because
Did you agree with Mary Kay on who's to blame for each of those plays?
The first one, Juan Thornhill. The second one, Denzel. Yes.
But Denzel took the blame for both, didn't he?
I don't know. I thought he took the
blame.
He
just said, put it on me. He didn't.
You
want the first breakdown and the second breakdown time? This is the second one.
Let me see both of them.
This is the second one. This is
the second one is
Quentin Johnston touchdown.
Okay, see, this is the interesting thing. So at the beginning of those dots, I wonder how they're playing it, because I had this same issue back when the Jets game came. You see how this tight end is off in a gravedigger position?
Where is the tight end? It's hard for me to say.
That's 89, second from the end on the right.
Yeah.
You see how he's off?
Yeah.
No, not 89, 15, 81.
Oh, you mean 81?
81. You see 81.
Almost like a
full,
yeah,
okay, so this the thing. This be the question.
Yeah.
Do you count that as a back in the backfield, or is that empty to you? Because if that's empty, they might have an empty check. And this is the same thing that happened in the Jets game.
Well, what do you think?
I don't know every coaches are different.
What do you think most coaches do?
To me, that's a back in the backfield. If in a
even though it's a tight end.
Yeah, if it's a grave digger, he's not going vertical. They never go vertical out of that set.
So he's not likely to get the ball.
He's putting that there for protection. That's what that is.
Gotcha.
So I would look at this as 3-by-1. And that, to me, is probably exactly what happened. Denzel looked at it, or everybody else looked at it and said empty, and Denzel said, no, that's 3-by-1. Or vice versa. They looked at it, and everybody else was like, this is 3-by-1. Denzel was like, it looked like it. It's not, because I just told you in the Jets game they did the same thing.
But I mean, even specifically, like.
But I'm telling you how it can become a problem. But what fixes it is if you go tell him, hey, it's cover 3, we playing 3. He wouldn't have to worry about this. But the fact that you look at it, I can understand why somebody could sit there and say, that's empty. So if it's empty, every team has an empty check. So he could have thought it was empty, and he went with that check, but everybody else was like, that's 3-by-1, because we treating that tight end as a running back in the backfield. So that's how you can get that's how you get confused on a play.
What was Denzel? Was Denzel picking up the tight end for a second here?
No, Denzel was playing 2. Everybody else looked like they was playing cover 3.
I see.
Yeah, because you could tell it's cover 3 because number 9, Dale Pitt came down in the box, so he's playing 3 while number 1 is rolling to the post. Everybody else is playing cover 3, so Denzel looked like it was cover 2. That's what happened. So and I truly think that's what's going on. They looked at it. Somebody thought it was empty, and somebody thought it was 3x1. They got to clarify what that is.
I'm gonna tell you what.
And that right there is classified information.
Real
that
quick,
I just told
you. That's the second one. Let's do the first one. Let's do the first one real quick because
the first one, just Juan Thornhill just went with Lamb McConkey because he was eating at that point. He tried to rob something. He got to be over the top of number 1. You're supposed to first of all, your landmark. Okay, he hit his landmark. Once you hit your landmark. And cover 2 is usually top of the numbers, right about where he's at. So what happened is, take it from the top. Hold on, stop it right there. Pause it. Okay. So when you're running cover 2 to this formation, you got the corner on the outside is going to be the reroute guy. He reroutes him inside and he sinks. He only comes to the flats when the ball is thrown to the flats. So you're supposed to carry it until something brings you down to the flats. That's the corner's responsibility. The nickel's responsibility, he is what they call a poach player. A poach player is you backpedal and you look at the quarterback. And when he sets his feet to throw, you stop and you got to drive. It's like a flat drive. Mm-hmm. The number 9 on this one, he would be they took a linebacker out on this one, so that's even better. So now your middle run-through player is number 9, which is a safety, which is what you really want. He's going to open the 3. He's going to always open the 3, and he's going to carry it vertically, and he only comes off if somebody stops. Like if 2 or somebody stops, boom, he don't have to carry it no more. But you want to be under that to put some air under the ball to allow your safety to have some time to deteriorate the throw. 12 is backside. What's going to happen with him is he's going to play it tight because that guy's coming to him. He essentially has to play both of these guys. And Martin Emerson has to reroute inside and he has to sink. He should carry it the whole way because he has nothing coming to the flats. There's nobody there but a running back. Right. And if the running back comes out, you let him throw it, then you come down and come tackle it. So with that being said, roll the dots. Boom, he's covered. Okay, boom. Oh, yeah. See, so the problem is Juan Thornhill, Dale Pitt did an excellent job. He's right where he needs to be under 2, so they're not going to throw it to Ladd because if he throws it to Ladd, that's a pick.
Yeah.
Juan's got to grow because you got to get over there. Like, that's your job. You got to get over there. You can't let 12 or 15. So it's on
that's
Juan.
Thornhill's.
It's on Juan, yeah.
Okay. So what was he thinking? He was just worried because McConkey had been hot.
McConkey was hot, and they had a good chemistry. And he bent it, and it's something, when that guy bends that route in front of you like that, it is very enticing to take it.
But why did Denzel, Denzel was staying with him there for a long time.
Yeah, Tyvus, you said Denzel doesn't come off unless there's flat responsibility.
He shouldn't come off unless the ball is thrown to the flats.
So Denzel should have carried, but it's on Thornhill for not being there.
Correct. It's a trail technique.
Denzel at some point is worried about 27.
I guess. Denzel at some point, all he's supposed to do is make him put air under the ball. Because he should be thinking to himself, if I'm in this trail technique, like if he put air under the ball, my safety should make that play. It's not his play to make. He's not necessarily carrying it the whole way. He's waiting until something takes him off and goes to the flat, which in this case 27 does at some point.
Good stuff, Tyvus. Good stuff.
Well,
great breakdown.
I appreciate it. That means I still got it.
And the thing I got a problem with is Juan Thornhill. I don't like when people come to Cleveland and start doing their own stuff.
I told you, it's enticing though. Like I've been in that situation where you're backpedaling and that guy bends it because you think in your mind cover 2. The hole is in the middle. Like you think like hey, my safety not there, so if he bends this, he gonna try to fire it as soon as he bend it. But Dale Pitt did an excellent job being there. Even if he did throw it, you got another safety. So let me explain it to you this way as well, how it kind of works a little bit. So when you're playing cover 2 at safety, you hit your landmark. To me, when I played it, it was a back pedal the entire way. Like you take off and you back pedal the whole way. You hit your landmark and you just go back. And the quarterback's shoulder, don't look at the eyes because they'll look you off. Look at the shoulder. If the shoulder's pointing your way, you just weave with the shoulder. If the shoulder's this way, you weave that way. So that way it always puts you in position to make a play. So if the front tip of Justin Herbert's shoulder was to the middle and he weaved with it, all right, that's fine. But you better be ready to break on that throw, which he didn't, and that's what happened. So there you go. And you need a good pass rushing cover too as well.
That right there just shows you the difference between you'll never win no Super Bowls or big games doing that. Like the margin of error is too close. Like you can give one play up like that. If you give up a play like that, and it's just a first down, you could lose a Super Bowl. These guys are nowhere near like to have it happen twice.
Yeah,
come on,
inexcusable.
Come on.
Like I say, the second one I understand that, but that's.
But why are they refusing to?
It's a good question. That's a great question.
What is happening?
I have
here?
no idea. I've always learned that the best defenses that play the game communicate. Yeah. You think in Seattle we didn't talk? You think we didn't talk? You think
when you insure,
period?
Shut up.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's on Jim Schwartz. Make it happen.
Y'all hold him to all these standards and all these other things.
Happen.
Jim Schwartz, literally, I was watching this show yesterday. Y'all was talking about y'all hate how the DBs celebrate after stuff, even when they down. Yeah. Well, that's a rule. That's a Jim Schwartz rule. If you make a play, you better celebrate that play.
Well,
with that being said, if y'all got that rule enforced, the hand signaling should be enforced as well.
That's a much more important rule. Communicate.
But it does make a lot. Celebrate. It makes it when you see stuff like that. It makes a lot of sense. I always wonder, why do we play so much man to man? Because it's simple. I don't have to talk to nobody. I got my guy, and unless he's in a bunch or a stack, I don't need to talk to nobody. I got this guy. When we run zone, stuff like this happens. It's because we don't talk to each other.
Insane.
Great breakdown. People appreciate it, and I feel like we're all a little bit smarter after hearing you diagnose what went wrong on those two plays. Let's talk about Dawand Jones, guys. He's going to be the left tackle for the foreseeable future for the Browns. And if you want to see Dawand in person with this new look Browns offense after the bye week, you better be using Game Time and the Game Time Picks feature to get your tickets, not even just for games, for concerts, for shows. If you could think of a live event, Game Time and Game Time Picks will have the best ticket buying experience for you on the entire internet. Take the guesswork out of buying your tickets online with Game Time Picks. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's Game Time.
I love the Game Time app, Mike, but that's a stretch transitioning Dawand Jones to promote it. Dawand can't get through a game healthy.
Hey.
So is his injuries concerns the reason you don't think he could be the Browns' long-term answer at left tackle?
He said he'd be fine.
I mean, I think he could be the long-term answer at left tackle, but I don't have the highest hopes. He's had trouble maintaining a healthy weight, and I know how hard that is. It's hard. He's got a problem. There's a decent chance he has an eating disorder of some kind or an addiction to food or something, as I do. And that's something that is hard to deal with and can be a problem. He's already dealt with a number of injuries in 2 years. It's a concern. I mean, there's talent there, no doubt, but
he needs to look. I very rarely go to people's size. I always tell people I got fluctuating weight disease.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. All depends on how I'm feeling at that time period. So, but here's the thing. When you have joint issues, you have surgeries and stuff. I had a bunch of them, and the doctor says, for every 10 pounds you take off of your weight, it's almost like 4 times as much as taking off your frame.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you carrying that excess weight, I always knew. I used to play, my playing weight was usually between 265 or I could get up to like 305.
You was 265 D tackle?
So I used to play we used to play like a hybrid, like a Tampa, like three defensive linemen and one stand-up dude.
You was a stand-up dude?
I was. And then I moved inside. Depending on my fluctuation.
You better bulk up if
right.
you're going to be in there.
So you deal with the weight fluctuation. And I always knew around 265 to 272 is my best playing weight. My joints feel good. I still kept my quickness. But when you start getting into the 280s, I'm more stronger than I am at 270, but now you talk about you sacrificing speed, you're sacrificing some of your energy levels, you're sacrificing your stamina, and when you get to 305, it's like, all right, well now I'm like, man, my pants is uncomfortable. I don't know. Right. Give me another bigger jersey. For Dawand Jones, if he dedicated himself and said, yo, they have him listed at 370 or something, I would tell him you need to be playing at 330. 330 at the minimum. And if he's such a huge
he had
human
375 being, right now. You want him to drop 45?
Well, he was over 400
over 400.
But he's 375 now.
Yeah, you could tell he lost
some weight.
And you want him to drop another 40?
Yes. At another 40, he would be light on his feet.
Yeah.
His joints, he would be able to bend more.
I don't disagree with you. You are absolutely right, but that's hard.
The key's going to be, guys, the offseason, because that's when you're not around the fellas and you're doing your own thing, and you're more likely to eat crappy.
But he's making decent coin. He should hire a chef.
It's not just about that, Tyvis. Yes, that's an advantage that he. First of all, he's not. He was a later draft pick. I mean, how much is he making?
Probably like $700,000.
They got dietitians at
he can do it. It's hard, man.
Trust me, I know. Yeah. But I'm saying, think about this though. They put him in a position right tackles make good coin. Left tackle?
Yeah. I mean, he has a chance to be a special
player. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Eminem said you got one shot at this thing. You a fourth round pick, meaning this is year 2, so you got 2 years and you can break the bank.
Here's
and especially if they do get the quarterback situation figured out. 2 years from now, ain't Deshaun off the books?
Is Eminem the best white rapper ever?
Yeah.
Yes.
Not even close.
Yeah. Not even.
I mean, who's a runner up?
Do you not even call him a white rapper? Does he not?
No, he's white.
Well, I know he's white, but I mean,
skill set, no.
He's a white rapper.
Skill set, no.
What do you
mean?
He's one of the best lyrical rappers of all time.
He's a top 10 of all time, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. Top 5.
Debatable.
On some list.
What do you mean? Lyrical?
I'm
lyrics? Are you asking artists? What are you asking?
I'm just asking you.
Because it's different categories.
For you, do you think he's a top 5 rapper of all time? However you want to define that.
Sales-wise, he is.
I'm about to say sales-wise, he's the only person that had 2 back-to-back diamond albums.
But I don't have him my top 5.
Not your personal top 5.
Or Nelly might have did that.
I don't have him it's hard to get. When you talk about rap, that's like saying who do you got the top 5 baseball players of all time.
All right,
if somebody put him in the top 5, nobody would
have a problem.
No, you can't argue that.
Yeah, all right.
You know what I'm saying? But I think overall, I think the Cleveland Browns and Kevin Stefanski need to go back to the drawing board and reevaluate. So their offseason program has to be overhauled.
They get too many injuries.
They're injured, and it's not tough enough. When I need those guys to be like, hey, our offseason conditioning program is mandatory, and we need guys in here because I'm gonna be.
Well, you can't do that.
But now, the problem is the player.
I get that.
You know what's happened here, G? We've gone from, in all sports, I think, we were so crazy with practice. It was too much. You were hurt. It was negatively affecting players. Too tough, too much, and now we've gone too far the other way. Where everything's too soft. In all sports, they baby pitchers in baseball. They're injured more than they've ever been. This taking days off for no reason in the NBA. If a guy's hurt, Giannis was hurt, don't play, fine. But taking days off is like a maintenance day. That's crazy.
I think the standards just slipped a lot.
Players play, man. They gotta play.
Tyvis, they gotta. I don't know, man. They're not mentally tough, man.
The Browns have the softest training camp.
It's a different.
If Kevin Stefanski's got to toughen his team up a little bit.
But it's too late.
Yeah.
Well, for this year, it's
I'm saying, period.
That cost him.
It's period. You can't. If you're gonna do that, you got to lay the law down day one.
Yeah.
You got to show them day one. If you come in being their friend, they're gonna take advantage of you. You got to lay the law down, then work them. No, because it's fake. Then I know the real you.
But he doesn't. No, but he can be tougher in terms of, hey, we got to do more. We're gonna play in the preseason. He's got to be a yeller and screamer.
But truly, how this season's gone, I feel like everybody would feel that way.
Yeah. All right, Mike. Aditi's with us.
We're going to bring in Aditi, and
she was on the call of the game.
We're going to do the read after Aditi because we got to print out a new one. But we have Aditi Kinkhabwala joining the show now. She called the Browns game, or was on the call for the Browns game on Sunday, and now she joins us today to talk about it. What's up, Aditi?
How are you guys? What's going on?
You seem
what was that stat that you said last week about the backup quarterbacks when you owe Nicole?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that kind of got laid to waste. But, I want to start a DTR. Sorry. Like, Jameis is so lovable, and he obviously went viral the week before, and he brings this wonderful energy, but I just sort of felt like DTR, and I still feel this way, DTR is maybe the better option moving forward. It's smart to see what you have in him.
The only reason I wouldn't do it, Aditi, is two reasons. One, I think Jameis gives you a chance to see more of your skill position talent and where they are, like Cedric Tillman. Two, I have a hard and fast rule when it comes to quarterbacks in the NFL. If they weigh less than Aditi Kinkhabwala, they can't start. And DTR is the only quarterback in the NFL that weighs less than you. So, he's like 74 pounds.
I get Kyler Murray this week, so let's see.
No, he weighs more than you. Come on now.
With Kyler Murray.
Yeah. But I just DTR can't stay healthy.
I think that even Bryce Young is a little bit sturdier than Kyler Murray, maybe.
All right, if you fought Bryce Young, would you win?
Come on, I'm not a violent person, especially on today of all days. Let's not go in that direction.
Fair.
That's okay.
That's a good point. We'll start.
Of all days, not that we're going to meld into that, but obviously Aditi's anxiety levels are very, very high.
I like it.
Reining it in.
Let's bring it back in.
You have Kyler Murray. Who are the Cardinals playing this week? I don't even know offhand.
The Jets. Aaron Rodgers, who shares a birthday with me.
I hate Aaron Rodgers.
Why?
Well, he and I share a birthday. How about that? Britney Spears' birthday is also on December 2nd, if that counts for anything.
What is she doing these days?
Yeah.
Does she still make music?
No.
Just being rich?
I don't know. No, I think that she finally got out of that conservatorship with her dad, and things are sort of moving forward.
I don't even know how that loophole even works.
One more time.
Like I think my wife got me in a conservatorship. Like
that's possible.
That is only for your own good, Gene.
Right.
That's what it
true.
is.
I'm like, what do you mean it's declined? What are you talking about?
That's
sir, there's been a hold placed on your card.
Aditi, where do the Browns go from here? Do you think that how do you think the players react to this loss? Obviously, Jameis goes in there against Baltimore. It brings the life back into the whole locker room and things like that. And, now that they take this loss in there in the bye week, where do you think they are mentally?
There's a little piece that you have to acknowledge and recognize that there was a little fool's gold in the win against the Ravens, right? There were 3 interceptions that were dropped. The Chargers didn't drop the interceptions, obviously.
They did drop one in the first quarter.
You think about... Well, okay, fine. So then there would have been 4. But, Nick Chubb kept running against a light box and couldn't get anywhere, which makes you wonder about the actual runs, the design of the runs. This is not about the effectiveness of Nick Chubb. You wonder about the effectiveness of the runs themselves. Then you look, and they never threw outside the numbers. I mean, they couldn't do anything with the zone. The Chargers were playing zone. They couldn't do anything against that. It just felt like the Browns offensively weren't getting anything going, and here we were saying, oh, well, look, the line is finally healthy, and look, for the first time all year, they're starting the same 5 in consecutive games, and look, Cedric Tillman is really finally being targeted and has come on as a result of that. And, it's interesting. We talked to Jameis Winston about... I've said this to you on the show before, that I love Jameis Winston as a teammate, that it's so much fun to watch him on the sideline, that he is constantly walking up and down that sidelining guys. And I said he even did that when he was the 3rd quarterback unexpectedly, right? 2 weeks ago against the Bengals. So I asked him about this, and he said, I'm not as much of a cheerleader. I'm not as much of a rah-rah guy, were his exact words. When he's playing. He said when he's playing, he has to think about playing. And so he's talking to guys and he's asking questions more and he's saying, what are you seeing and what's going on here? And he's not necessarily bringing that same juice that he brings when he's not playing. And I will say this, despite things not going well for the Browns, the sideline demeanor was still different. There was still, the sideline didn't feel quite as dead as it did to me in the Bengals game. But by the same token, it was almost like the juice and the energy that we've seen from Jameis when he's not playing wasn't necessarily there. And I hate to say that he was tight, because I don't know that he was tight. I don't know that the moment... the idea that, hey, now I'm actually fighting for my second chance. I'm fighting to be the next Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold or Geno Smith. I don't know that got to him. He gave us all the right answers about that before, about how, everything is week to week and it's about one opportunity and it's about one play in front of you, and he wasn't going to get wrapped up in that. But even pregame, he did a pregame interview with our Nate Burleson back in the NFL Today studio, and it just was different. And I really feel football needs to be fun. I really feel this way. And the contrast was, I was talking to Derwin James on Saturday, and he must have dropped the word fun 24 times in our conversation. And I actually teased him about it. And he was like, it just feels so different. And at the end of the day, it's a game. It's a game. And there should be some joy in that. And what's that great line? When you can make work play, then everything goes better. And it just, I don't know, it just felt like Jameis was a little bit tighter than he seemed on tape the week before.
Aditi, you talked about joy and fun and things like that. If I'm Myles Garrett, this is not fun. And I look across at Pittsburgh and you look at your contemporaries, maybe like T.J. Watt, and you say, listen, they haven't had Ben Roethlisberger in a number of years, but Mason Rudolph, Duck Hodges, they never seem to go Kitty Pickett. They don't seem to be rebuilding.
Gee, I've said this to you for the last couple of years when we constantly have these conversations about TJ Watt and Myles Garrett and this and that. And I keep saying, sometimes the defense needs to make some real splash, and the sack isn't enough. Go force a fumble. Go strip the ball. Go get an interception. And when your offense is hurting, sometimes your defense, it's not impossible for the defense to score. It's not impossible for the defense to make a game-breaking play. And this Browns defense, they got stops. Yeah, they made things hard, but they didn't get those turnovers. They didn't create that splash in the same way. And sometimes you need to pick up your offense that way. And when you sit here and you talk about the Steelers have a knack for doing that. They have a knack for the defense getting the ball itself.
We can't even get lined up right now, Aditi. We can't. We got guys running wide open in the secondary, let alone taking the football.
Yeah, and that that was so awful to see, and the miscommunication. And I was watching Rodney McLeod on the sideline. I think I actually even gave this as a hit in the game. And he was gathering all the DBs, and this is what he was talking about. He was saying communication. He was saying look each other in the eye, like make sure you're making eye contact when you're communicating. And it's funny because coming out of the half, I talked to Kevin about what was going on the back end, because the front was obviously getting home, but the back end was being exploited, especially on third down. And I said, what did you address on the back end and what adjustments do you make? And he was just like, yeah, those miscommunications, that's unacceptable. And that now there was one piece, obviously, let's not forget that Denzel Ward didn't practice during the week as he was going through the concussion protocol, but that's one piece. Otherwise, you had all your safeties back. You had everyone there. I can't explain it. But, this is one of the most maddening parts of this Browns team right now. Penalties, these unforced errors, the attention to detail, it just seems very, very different than what we've seen in previous years. And I know you guys were talking about this before I came on, about someone being a disciplinarian, someone being a heavy. I mean, Bill Callahan was a guy that didn't let anything fly. And seeing a lot of, again, the same phrase, seeing a lot of these unforced errors and this lack of discipline just feels weird. And it just makes you wonder, does there need to be a different level of accountability in the teaching? Does there need to be a different level of detail in the installation?
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Stefanski is having a bad year as a coach. I think Kevin, we always say, it seems like when a coach has a bad year, we're just, he's a bad coach, let's fire him. I think like a player, a good player can have a bad year. I believe Kevin Stefanski's having a bad season. I think the firing of Alex Van Pelt, which was stupid, and the loss of Bill Callahan, that combination has hurt him. You're talking about how he didn't let anything get by. I can't remember who I talked to about this. Maybe it was Sean King. I don't know. But he said, yeah, you need a coach. When the head coach is an offensive coach and he's more like a mild-mannered chill guy. You need somebody else on that staff to be the badass, if you will. And he doesn't have that counterbalance this year. And I don't know if that's the only factor, but certainly Kevin Stefanski's not done a great job this year.
I mean, it's a conversation. It's hard. I mean, you gutted the entire offensive staff that were the guys that he's grown with over 4 years, that he's created the rapport, the good cop, the bad cop, the designation of the roles, all of that. I mean, these are the guys that he's been through the fires of COVID, of 5 different starting quarterbacks, all of that over the last few years. And now they're gone. And the way that he talked about relying on Bill Callahan, just as that seasoned veteran, wise, wily old coach who's been there, who actually knows what's going on. And this is a common thing. I'll tell you that I've had conversations with a member of the Patriots front office about the Patriots staff and how, Gerard Mayo is a young coach who doesn't kind of have that old former head coach that he can count on. Kind of like Mike McDonald has Leslie Frazier. Kind of like, Sean McVay all those years ago brought in Wade Phillips. Sometimes you just need that old head. And it's not that Kevin doesn't know what he's doing. It's not that Kevin's not a great coach, but we all need compliments. I mean, in our spouses, we don't marry the exact same person. Everybody needs a yin and a yang. And as you said, Kevin is a very, very non-confrontational, relatively easygoing guy, and he's not the one that's going to be holding people's feet to the fire.
Right. Aditi, thanks as always. Great job on the coverage. Enjoy. Is the game
Appreciate
in New
it.
Jersey?
No, I wish it's in Arizona, actually.
At least it's
so
warm.
I get a lovely midnight red eye through Newark Airport. What was that?
It's in a dome, and it's good weather.
I know, but it's about the travel home, my friend.
Yeah, that's.
The first flight I can take is at midnight, and I have to fly to Newark Airport, sit at Newark Airport for 2 hours, and then get home. But hey, just one last thing: exercise your right to vote. Okay, it's 100%. A major privilege.
Thank you.
Today's a big day.
You're right. Everybody do
yes,
it.
Sir.
Everybody vote. Thanks, Aditi.
Thanks, Aditi.
We have breaking news from the Browns. Mary Kay suggested they might trade Quentin Jefferson. Well, obviously they were trying to, and they got no offers for him because they're, according to Tom Pelissero, G just showed me the tweet, they are releasing Quentin Jefferson.
Right, my boy Q.
I see that, but thank you. Did not
He's
see
gone.
that, but thank you for bringing that to our attention. But we're going to talk a little baseball for a second.
Yes.
After a quick word from BetterHelp. Today's show is sponsored by BetterHelp. The month of November is all about gratitude, and along with the person that we just talked about, Quentin Jefferson, there's another person we don't talk about enough, and that's ourselves. Sometimes it's hard to remind ourselves that we're trying our best to make sense of everything, and in this crazy world, it's not always easy. So here's a reminder to send some thanks to people in your life, including yourself. If you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/lockedon today to get 10% off your first month. That is BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedon.
Apparently, people are coming out in a big way to vote in Cleveland. Usually the people voting in the city itself, the numbers have not been great in recent years. I just saw somebody who is, he writes, I don't know, he's a media member in news, who said the longest he's had to wait to vote in downtown in 9 years has been 4 minutes. Today he had to wait an hour and 22 minutes. The lines to vote at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse are around the corner. Stay in the lines. Voting is imperative. It is your right, and in my opinion, it's your duty as an American to do your part. So make sure you're staying on those lines and going out and vote if you're in the city of Cleveland.
I need to get this. We not having overtime.
We're skipping overtime
no
today,
overtime, so we can go
get to the precinct.
You mentioned baseball.
David Fry.
In the last few days, I'm sure most people haven't paid attention. I'm a nerd like this, so I do. There's been hundreds of transactions as free agency has officially started in Major League Baseball.
Whoa.
Unlike the NBA and the NFL, there is no immediate rush to sign guys, but we got this bad news yesterday. David Fry, we know he had a problem with his elbow, which is why he couldn't play the field the last 3 months of the season. When they went in there, they found it worse than they expected. He has to have elbow reconstruction surgery, as you see there from Tom Withers of the AP. 6 to 8 months before he can return,
Jeez.
which means he will miss the beginning of the season.
That's the whole year.
Well, not necessarily. It depends,
How he is.
I mean, 6 months would have him back sometime in April. 8 months would have him sometime in June. So he's going to miss a minimum of a month and up to 3 months of the season potentially.
Then it's going to take him a while.
So
to get his groove
got
back.
to. I would think of him as. I think they got to consider him out for the first half of the year. That's a big loss.
How does that change their offseason plans, if at all, Bull?
Travis Bazzana.
It should change their offseason plans. Kyle Manzardo will be on the team the whole year next year. So right now, the lineup, in terms of the lineup, the only free agent they have. So Alex Cobb just became a free agent. Matthew Boyd became a free agent. And Austin Hedges became a free agent. I think that was the only 3 guys they had. They just took James Karinchak off the 40-man roster, so he's become a free agent. He didn't play at all this year. He was hurt at one point. He looked like he'd be a really good reliever. And now he's on the free agent market. So in terms of the offense that was on this team last year, everybody is back except for Austin Hedges. It wouldn't shock me if they re-signed him again. But, in terms of what the offseason plan for me, it shouldn't change it. Now, I don't know if it's going to change it for them.
So you said
they already needed 2 hitters.
So we getting Juan Soto.
Stop.
That would be sweet.
Wouldn't it? Could you imagine checking your phone and seeing the Guardians sign Juan
That would be the biggest shocker ever.
I'm trying to figure this out because
you ain't got no sticks.
You have
some sticks. They don't have enough.
Sticks. The sticks is minimowski when it counts. Listen, these dudes is again.
Big Christmas came through. What you talking about?
Here's what I want to do. Bazzana, forget all that minor league stuff. Forget all of that. I need Manzardo. Why is he up and down? There should be no reason.
He won't be up and down anymore. He'll be a starter next year.
Listen, at least you going. Where's the Lauder? Where's the rest of the guys?
They can't stay healthy.
Those guys have gotten hurt. I'm done with prospects. I want veterans. I want 2 hitters to be signed. That's what they should do.
Are they going to do that?
No.
I think they'll sign 1, but my guess is it'll be out of the bargain bin and not the legitimate bin.
They are not getting no free agents.
Where is Cody Bellinger at now?
He's on the Cubs.
Is he still going to be there?
He did not. He had an option, and he picked up his own option. Okay. So he will stay with the Cubs for this year.
My fears is this, Bull.
Yeah.
Kansas City on the rise.
By the way, Kansas City just spent some money. Michael Wacha, a veteran pitcher, who they picked up last year. They just signed him to a 3-year extension.
Detroit on the rise.
They are.
Sure. Minnesota, always in the mix.
In the mix, yeah.
So,
what about the White Sox?
We didn't talk about that. You got 3 teams in your own division that are going to be contenders. They're going to be contenders. And we, at this point, we just lost David Fry, who was one of our best clutch hitters.
That's right. You're now listen. The offseason just started.
Right.
They could shock us and spend some money.
Juan Soto.
Crazy money. We know they're not going to get Juan Soto, unfortunately.
Please.
But they may surprise us and spend more than we're expecting. I'm not. That's why it's a surprise, because we're not expecting it. So I'm not going to preemptively kill them. I've criticized them enough for not spending. I will criticize them yet again if they don't. I'm not going to. I think yesterday or today.
What about Shane Bieber? Are they going to bring him back?
I don't know. That was their other free agent. I knew there was one guy I wasn't thinking of.
Yeah.
Shane Bieber's going to be interesting because he's not going to be able to pitch till the middle of the season. So
you think? Do you think like teams will just wait him out, or do you think he'll sign? And
the problem is there'll be some big market team that'll pay him a lot of money to kind of rehab this year and sign him to a 2-year deal.
Now, and this too, Cobb and Boyd.
Yeah.
Were obviously your 2 best pitchers you thought of because they just brought them in and played them.
Yeah,
over guys that you brought
outside of Bybee. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So are they signing those 2 guys?
What about Ben Lively?
I don't think so.
Is Lively still on with us?
I honestly, I don't. I'd rather them sign better pitchers.
Oh, okay, well, if they're gonna let those guys walk and they don't sign anybody, what are we doing?
We're not doing anything if they don't do anything. They may not do anything. And we may just get angry and yell and scream, why can't they help this team?
So they're going to let those guys, maybe they found a diamond in the rough.
I think they might re-sign one of those two guys.
What's the rookie that was playing in the playoffs? Started a couple. Joey Cantillo.
He's still there. Okay. Everybody else is still there.
So, like, is he going to be on the...
Yeah, I mean, he'll probably be in the mix to be their fifth
So our starters, our pitchers right now is Bybee.
Right. If the season started today, their rotation would be Bybee, Gavin Williams,
that's it.
Tristan McKenzie,
is Lively still there?
Ben Lively, and
Cantillo.
Either Cantillo or Logan Allen.
Now here's the
Logan Allen ain't coming.
Here's the most disrespectful part about that, right? They left Lively off all rosters in the playoffs.
Yeah, he was on the roster in the LCS.
But he didn't pitch. They didn't pitch.
Did him filthy.
Tristan McKenzie was in the minors after April or something crazy.
Yeah.
Logan Allen got jettisoned.
I'm not a fan.
So you talking about the last three guys in your rotation are guys that they basically already told you what they felt.
Marks, yeah.
They told you what they felt about them.
They're big question. Yes, you're right. It's fair.
What about what's the one guy? Daniel Espino?
He's been hurt for 3 years. I don't know.
And this is why.
What was his injury recently?
I don't remember his latest injury.
It was elbow.
Elbow.
Yeah,
so he's probably going to miss. When did he? Did he have
at
surgery?
the beginning of the season.
So he might be ready by the middle of the season. I don't know, but again, anything you get from him is an extreme long shot.
So I mean, I just asked you this, Bull.
Last thing, then we got super chats.
Yeah.
When you look at, I'm watching the Dodgers and I'm watching the Yankees.
Yeah.
I just saw the Dodgers smoke a team that smoked us.
Yeah.
And they made them look like, y'all don't got no ball players. Y'all don't got no power. We got hitters everywhere. Yeah. We got pitchers everywhere. So it's like, for us to say that the Guardians, and I love them to death, and they went to the ALCS, but they have to have everything go right.
Yeah, and they've got to. They need upgrades. They got to spend, and I'm going to hope against hope that this year they raise the payroll $30-40 million.
I just want to bring back Cobb and Boyd. Don't even do too much. Just give me the dudes, the arms you had.
They only want a day 2 pick for Marshawn. Shoot, I give him a third.
I heard he may be going to Washington. I was reading. Go ahead, Mike. Super chats.
Super chats. Eddie Everhart, our guy Eddie says, "Is the Home Alone family actually bad, or only bad from Kevin's perspective?"
All right, I hate that. Like Eddie, you sound like these idiots out there, and I love you, Eddie. I'm not calling Eddie an idiot. But people that would say something like that remind me of these idiots, this other idiot conspiracy theory. Like our country's been destroyed by idiotic conspiracy theories. But one of the first ones was that Ralph Macchio is actually the bully in Karate Kid, which is the dumbest thing ever. And if you feel that way, you are an unintelligent doofus. And Eddie is not an unintelligent doofus, but that's the same type of conspiracy theory as the idiotic Karate Kid conspiracy.
So here's what you do.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want to see if they're bad or not, leave your kid in the car. Oh, you going to jail.
That's right.
That's right. You leave the kid in the car.
And by the way,
or your dog.
Why couldn't they call a friend of theirs? They didn't have a single friend that could have gone to look for this kid? Not one friend? You could tell they're terrible people. They didn't have any friends.
All right, next one. G. Bush's bad neck. Not to be confused with G. Bush's bad knee. This is G. Bush's bad neck. It's not just about the fact we don't trust AB to pick guys. We don't trust the scouts to evaluate them of the players they bring to the table. I mean, also, Marshawn Lattimore just got traded.
Who
did?
Marshawn Lattimore.
Where did he go? Washington?
Washington, yep.
Ooh, they going for it this year.
How do we know? That's not fair to say you can't trust the scouts. The scouts might be doing a great job, and they might be getting ignored by Andrew Berry.
We don't know.
How do we know what influence they have?
We don't even know what Deepa Dessa does. We want to fire, but we don't know what he does.
Yeah, we don't.
Halim Youssef says G. Bush and Bull are fishing to hate on AB today. DB Dog 21 says, I hear AB getting a lot of blame for the guys he drafts, but shouldn't the scouting team get most of the blame? They're the ones that are misevaluating the talent, right?
We don't know that. He's the GM. He's the guy in charge.
He's the guy. He's the guy over the scouting department.
That's it.
He can fire any scout and bring in that's his evaluation.
If you take a look at every transaction that the Browns have made since Andrew Berry's been the GM and categorize them as in the good column or the bad, there's more in the bad than the good. That's it.
And guess what? The ownership group is going to go itemized line by line.
That's right.
this one. Like, they're going to do that in evaluation. I'm just.
Fire the scouts, too.
I know Marshawn is like, yes.
We got 2
playoffs,
more.
baby.
Yeah. And then we can talk about Lattimore for the last 30 seconds. But Topo42 says the Browns need to draft a top-tier receiver. Find a project at quarterback like Rourke at Indiana. He has potential. They're winning like crazy. No quarterbacks this year in the draft. Load up on linemen as well. And last but not least, Says Hater says, Stefanski, AB, and Paul DePodesta, who in their right minds would trust these clowns again? They had their chances. They missed all over. I'm out with 4 exclamation points.
I'm out. Texas in every way.
By the way, I want to know if there's anybody else in the media in the country that picked Washington to make the playoffs besides me.
No, that's a hot pick.
The only thing
that's crazy.
The closest that I've heard to that is when G. Bush made a very good point where he said that when we were doing the roster game, and he goes, just because a team wasn't good last year doesn't mean that they won't be good this year. Every year. There's always a team that's terrible that does something and goes and takes off. Washington is that team this year.
Hey, save that as a clip right there.
It comes back to the quarterback.
Book it!
By the way, Baker played pretty well, I thought, last night.
He did.
Yeah.
Even though he's got no receivers.
No weapons.
Kay Otten's become
I'm telling you.
superstar last month. Man. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you. Vote like your life depends on it. We'll see you tomorrow.
No overtime. We're all going to go vote. We'll see you tomorrow.
Peace!